Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Beyond the 90. I am your host, Alex Elleman. Well, we've had a really interesting week in the world of Australian soccer. We've just announced that the Internationals Cup is coming here in June and July next year. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, bringing the likes of Chelsea, Manchester City, Real Madrid and Barcelona. And not to mention, it's annoyed the AFL because it's going to be hosted at the MCG. It will be absolutely fantastic, and it will bring the level of soccer here in Australia further up. It'd be absolutely brilliant. The last time we saw a big game at the MCG was when Liverpool were here. It was 90,000 all singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." Absolutely fantastic. Also, further in Australian news, SBS are now launching a bid to host the A-League. Be an interesting prospect to have a free-to-air A-League, considering it's always been with Foxtel, and this could happen in about 2017, and the A-League have already said that they're going to be looking to expand if it does get the free-to-air deal. Now let's have a look at the English Premier League. English Premier League this year has overall spent $1 billion in transfers. It is absolutely astronomical, with Liverpool, Chelsea and Southampton topping the list with some of the biggest spenders. Now, as we all know, the Premier League season has started, and it did start with a little bit of craziness. We saw Ashley Young cop a bit of bird poo in the mouth in the opener with Manchester United. A bit of comedy, unlucky for the Manchester United midfielder. We also saw the spray cans malfunctioning during the Arsenal game, with Santi Cazorla getting a mouthful of spray when the referee couldn't entirely get it out of the can. And also we saw in the West Ham Tottenham match a pitch invader show Christian Eriksen how it's done with a free kick that might not have scored, but it was on target, considering when Eriksen took up to take the free kick, it blasted straight over the bar. And as always, the Premier League season has started with a little bit of angst this year. All the teams are looking to go in and go in hard. We've already seen 3 red cards in the start of the Premier League season, which for me is a little bit crazy. All right, so now let's have a look at the reviews and previews of this week's games. All right, so we start off the week with Aston Villa coming off a 1-0 win off Stoke. A very impressive game, and they're doing really well, Villa. Considering they haven't got all the big names as some of the other teams, I can see them sort of starting to press in to maybe get a top 10. And they're taking on Newcastle United, who are just coming off a 2-0 loss to Manchester City. Now, Newcastle, it's all just starting to flow. They've got a few new players coming into the side that are just starting to warm up, and I can see them being back in the top 10, but they will need to get the mesh back into their game. But I do, however, see this game being very close, and it wouldn't surprise me if it ends in a draw. Now we have the Giants, Chelsea, the favourites. 3-1 win against the new boys, Burnley. And what can I say about Chelsea? They're just on another planet this year, and I can really see them going all the way. Mourinho has got so much quality to pick with his side. I can see Chelsea easily being there the whole season in the title race. And they're taking on the new boys, Leicester. Now, Leicester are coming off a 2-2 draw with Everton. For their first game in the Premier League, it's always tough to face such a big team like Everton, and they actually managed to do really well. A come from behind, 2-2 draw, utterly fantastic. And I see Leicester maybe pushing Chelsea to the limit this time. And now, leading on to the next game, we have Crystal Palace versus West Ham. Crystal Palace, 2-1 loss against Arsenal. Very high quality game. They are doing really well. The new manager is just starting to settle in, and I see Palace really pushing it this year. Maybe getting up to the levels that we saw Southampton last year. Now they're taking on West Ham, who suffered a 1-0 loss to Tottenham. West Ham were unlucky against Tottenham. They have got a really good side this year. However, I just can see Crystal Palace taking this game about 2-0, I reckon. Swansea and Burnley. Now, Swansea, a fantastic start to the season. A 2-1 win against Manchester United. That's how you want to start the season. Off and running with a bang. A big victory. And congratulations to the Swans on that victory and spoiling Louis van Gaal's opener. And they take on Burnley. Well, Burnley had to face the Giants Chelsea. A 3-1 loss, a valiant effort, but It's just unlucky when you come into the league and you've got to face such a good team like Chelsea. I do see Swansea, however, taking it to Burnley and winning about 2-0. Southampton and West Brom. Now, Southampton very unlucky against Liverpool. If it wasn't for the heroics of Simon Mignolet, Southampton would have at least walked away with a point. And that's just the way football is. Sometimes it can be unlucky. And they take on West Brom, a very two-all draw. A very good game with Sunderland. They've got a new young boy up front, and he's looking very hungry for goals. So I can see West Brom taking it to Southampton, but I do see Southampton winning it. I'd say maybe 3-2 or 2-1, but I guarantee you there will be goals in this game. Now, Everton against Arsenal, a big match. Everton will look to improve off their 2-all draw with Leicester. It just didn't click in the second half for Everton. They were very slow coming out of the gates in the second half. So they will look to have a stronger second half in this game coming up. And Arsenal, a 2-1 win against Crystal Palace in the dying minutes with a little bit of magic from Aaron Ramsey. Well, we just hope, I personally hope Everton win, but I cannot see Arsenal slipping like they did last week. I see Arsenal winning quite comfortably. Hull City coming off a 1-0 win against QPR, and they take on Stoke, who are coming off a 1-0 loss against Aston Villa. It's a much game, really. I would see it maybe ending in a 0-0 draw, but I don't know. It's going to take a little bit of magic from either side to really separate the two. Tottenham versus QPR. All right, well, Tottenham, a 1-0 win against West Ham. They will be looking to improve upon that. Another 3 points. It wasn't really convincing for me, so I do hope Tottenham come out of the gates firing. And QPR, 1-0 loss against Hull. Not the way you want to start a new season, especially coming into the Premier League. So I expect QPR to really try and take it to Tottenham, especially considering Harry Redknapp will like to get at his old team. Sunderland versus Man United. Now, Sunderland, a 2-2 draw with West Bromwich Albion. They've got the side, they've got the quality. It just needs to start coming together. The transfers have been good for them, and I can see Sunderland at least taking it out. But they're going to struggle because they've got to take on the big boys, Manchester United, Louis van Gaal would be absolutely shattered after the 2-1 loss to Swansea in the opener. He'll want to avenge their loss with a commanding win over Sunderland. And then we've got the big one of the first versus second to last season. Liverpool coming off a 2-1 win against Southampton. It was shaky throughout the game, but I can see Liverpool getting the fluency back from last year, and maybe in this game when they take on Manchester City. Now, Manchester City commanding 2-0 win over Newcastle. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic game. Last time it was a little bit of magic from Philippe Coutinho in the dying minutes to settle it, and I think that's what it's going to take this week. A little bit of magic from either or side to settle this one. All right, well, that's all we've got time for at Beyond the 90. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to check out any of my blogs, please go to www.beyondthe90.net and follow me at Twitter at Alex_Elleman. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week. This is Alex Elleman signing off.